Florida Civic Literacy Examination FCLE sample items. Flashcard 1. Which of the following ancient civilizations established a republican form of government? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Roman. Flashcard 2. During the 6th century BCE, the ancient Athenians divided the powers of their government between two assemblies and guaranteed certain political rights to all male citizens. How do these political reforms best illustrate how societies develop? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is by limiting government authority. Flashcard 3. A certain country is characterized by the following traits. 1. Power achieved through inheritance. 2. Same ruling family for over a century. 3. Finite freedoms and rights. 4. Hierarchical social status. 5. Single established state religion. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is divine right of kings. Flashcard 4. Which modern democratic concept practiced in the United States is most like the democratic process of ancient Greece? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the referendum, direct vote by the electorate on a proposal, law, or political issue. Flashcard 5. What is the principal function of a written constitution? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is outlining the structure and powers of a government. Flashcard 6. Which of the following objectives best describes the purpose of the system of checks and balances, as defined in the U.S. Constitution? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is keeping any one of the three branches of government from becoming too powerful. Flashcard 7. Which modern process would be supported by the ancient Greeks? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is electing governors. Flashcard 8. Laws against defamation, including libel and slander, property damage, and breach of contract, represent which is legal concern underlying most Western nations? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is civil law. Flashcard 9. Use the passage below, from an exchange between former President Nixon and a television interviewer, to answer the question that follows. Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal. Richard M. Nixon. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is rule of law. Flashcard 10. Which form of government is based on popular sovereignty? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is republic. Flashcard 11. Use the provided preamble to the United States Constitution to answer the question. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Which of the following statements best describes the preamble of the U.S. Constitution? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is governments are accountable to the citizens over whom they rule. Flashcard 12. The U.S. Congress fulfilled which of the following purposes of government when it declared war on Japan after the attack on Pearl Harbor? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is providing for the common defense. Flashcard 13. Which circumstance would require a search warrant? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is examining the contents of a hotel room. Flashcard 14. In the United States, which of the following is permitted to citizens by the right of freedom of assembly? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the right to demonstrate. Flashcard 15. A man is walking down a public street window shopping. A robbery is reported in that same area. Police officers stop and search the man who is shopping. On what constitutional grounds could this man contest this search as a violation of his rights? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Fourth Amendment. Flashcard 16. In the United States, how are conflicts between state laws and federal laws generally resolved? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the conflict must be resolved using the Supremacy Clause. Flashcard 17. Which article of the U.S. Constitution grants the power to coin money, make treaties, and levy import duties? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Article 1. Flashcard 18. Use the scenario below to answer the question that follows. A suspect is accused of a crime in one state and flees to another state where they are apprehended. The state is very slow in returning the suspect to the state of origin and keeps them imprisoned. Which of the following represents a suitable petition for the suspect in this situation, in regard to their constitutional rights? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is petition for writ of habeas corpus. Flashcard 19. Which phrase best describes the power of impeachment? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the ability of the U.S. House to charge federal officers with the crime or violation. Flashcard 20. Use the excerpt below from the Declaration of Independence to answer the question that follows. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Which constitutional provision was inspired by the above complaint? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the Third Amendment limits the quartering of soldiers to specific circumstances. Flashcard 21. Use the passage below from a historical document to answer the question that follows. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Which philosophical movement best reflects the ideals in the passage? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Enlightenment. Flashcard 22. Use the passage below, which was included in the Declaration of Sentiments adopted at the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, to answer the question that follows. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness. Which of the following documents influence the aims and strategies of the authors of the Declaration of Sentiments? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Declaration of Independence. Flashcard 23. Which political philosopher's ideas are best represented in the Declaration of Independence? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is John Locke. Flashcard 24. Why did colonists living under British rule protest British tax policies? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: the colonists claimed that the tax policies violated their political rights. Flashcard 25. In the Mayflower Compact, Plymouth settlers pledged to unite into a civil body politic and agreed to make and abide by laws that ensured the general good of the colony. What founding document did this set a precedent for? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is U.S. Constitution. Flashcard 26. Which person is considered to be the principal author of the U.S. Constitution? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is James Madison. Flashcard 27. Government by the people and the separation of powers are the main principles of which founding document? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is U.S. Constitutions. Flashcard 28. Use the excerpt below from the 13th Amendment to answer the question that follows. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Which of the following contains a clause that may have served as an inspiration for the above language? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Northwest Ordinances. Flashcard 29. The Mayflower Compact includes a pledge to ensure that all citizens look out for the general good of the colony. Based on this, what impact has the Mayflower Compact had on modern understanding of the purpose of government in the United States? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: the government should provide equal protection under the law. Flashcard 30. At the Constitutional Convention, there was a major debate between large states and small states about representation in the new Congress. This debate was resolved by the Great Compromise. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: Congress would have two houses, one in which state representation was based on population and one in which all states had equal representation. Flashcard 31. Which of the following reflects the most important consequence of the Watergate break-in? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is resignation of the President of the United States. Flashcard 32. Which legislation reflects federal efforts to regulate transportation? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Interstate Commerce Act. Flashcard 33. The U.S. Supreme Court enabled which government practices to continue in its ruling in Plessy v. Ferguson? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is segregating public facilities. Flashcard 34. Which of the following statements regarding the Monroe Doctrine is accurate? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: the Monroe Doctrine prohibited future European colonization in the Western Hemisphere. Flashcard 35. By what process were 18-year-olds fully granted the right to vote? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is constitutional amendment. Flashcard 36. Use the passage below, taken from a presidential nomination speech, to answer the question that follows. What do the people of America want more than anything else? To my mind, they want two things: work, and with work, a reasonable measure of security. Based on the passage, which government program would the speaker support? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is New Deal. Flashcard 37. In order to attract investment and business and reduce expenses, a state legislature proposes passing a law that removes the need for certain federal regulatory features relating to office and factory environments. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Occupational Safety and Health Act. Flashcard 38. Use the passage below from a landmark Supreme Court case opinion to answer the question that follows. So if a law be in opposition to the Constitution, if both the law and the Constitution apply to a particular case, so that the court must either decide that case conformably to the law, disregarding the Constitution, or conformably to the Constitution, disregarding the law, the court must determine which of these conflicting rules governs the case. Which Supreme Court case established the precedent described in the opinion? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Marbury v. Madison. Flashcard 39. Which of the following cases resulted in a decision that undermined civil rights and liberties in prioritization of national security? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Korematsu v. United States. Flashcard 40. A person is charged with felony breaking and entering. During the court proceedings, the defendant requested an attorney and was denied the right to counsel. Which Supreme Court case overturned the trial court's decision due to lack of counsel? Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Gideon v. Wainwright.